Damn.
live
Okay.
on YouTube
Okay.
video.
Okay. My bad. My bad, gentlemen. 100% my bad. I got it. Sorry. I will start the monologue over again and explain what I did wrong because we've actually been live on Rumble for about 10 minutes now. But okay.
Yeah, you're up.
You were good.
All right. YZY issued a false copyright strike against me earlier today, which completely deleted the first stream. So it does not exist. Very sad. The first stream is completely gone. And he issued a false copyright strike, completely false, against the thumbnail of the stream because it used his likeness in the thumbnail. Now, he is a public figure. He has a public YouTube channel, public Instagram account. So there is absolutely no legally defending his false copyright strike. And to be clear, we also did not violate YouTube's policies. So I should say, I had to spend about 30 minutes filing some of the paperwork to counterclaim his false copyright strike, his false DMCA takedown, and we will continue to press this as far as I see fit. Now, YZY, if you are not familiar, is a protect trans kids gentleman on the left. Very, very unhappy that we would dare to talk about his new YouTube video, which again is completely public on this platform, and we are allowed to critique, to criticize, to cover for news and entertainment purposes, and to transform the content as we see fit. That is the way to get around copyright claims, is to actually add something to the video and to not replace it in its entirety. Now, if you want to go check out YZY's video that we are going to be covering much later on in this stream, go ahead and check that out. It is, again, the YZY Prince Instagram, and that is his YouTube handle as well. Now, before we were live, he was talking to me a little bit, some might say threatening. I don't know if that's the correct term, but he was unhappy that I would even mention his name on Discord or point and laugh at his video. But now we all get to collectively point and laugh. And I know that you guys have been very supportive over on the YouTube side. Sorry about, I forgot to click the button in YouTube dashboard when it removes a stream. You actually have to manually add it and then manually press the button. That's on me. My bad, guys. So I was talking to nobody for about 5 minutes. Not embarrassing. Don't worry about it. But you can't be too mad because, as I said earlier, even though we're 30 minutes late, still 2 hours early. So we have a very hard out. The reason why we are streaming earlier today is because some of the other gentlemen on the panel, Chris and James, we have our first episode of a new podcast, which is linked in the YouTube chat right now. That will be live at 6 o'clock. So 2 hours from now, or an hour and a half from now, I should say, we will be live over there. So we have a very hard out, and this stream will automatically redirect to that stream. Now, I do want to say that you guys have been very kind and generous to me. YZY does not have the money to fight this sort of thing legally. You guys have afforded me the ability to do so. And if you guys have been so generous to me, it is only right and just that I use these funds to justly go after the evil. All 7 deadly sins wrapped up into one rotund individual. So I guess, would anyone like to re-give their intros now that we have a real YouTube audience watching us?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Skibbity toilet, sir. You look lovely as always.
Thank you. I'd like to keep my name anonymous for now. Unless I decide to go and take a drink out of my one-piece balaclava.
Chris, how you doing tonight, bud?
Did you say Chris?
Yes, sir.
Doing good, man. Hanging in there.
James, how's your night?
Going well so far.
Now that we're back.
All right. Is everybody... does anyone know about YZY Prince? Has anyone been inundated with this man's content before?
I am familiar with this stuff, yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. Featured on the InRange TV, Yellow Peril Tactical, Tactical Girlfriend, that sort of circle of people. Fun fact, Yellow Peril Tactical was interviewing the FBI's most wanted over in Texas. and his group.
Did you say
Yellow?
yellow apparel tactical? Is that
Yellow
one of?
Peril Tactical. It seems to be some sort of Asian
Okay.
pride thing, but not as cool
Well,
as
I
what
was gonna say,
Glow
is
So Bright
that
does.
is that
Not,
one
not
of
as cool as what Glow
your?
So Bright does.
All right. Well, yeah. YZY. I mean, he's been on other podcasts and things. So this, let me back up so you guys can see. I know you may not want to see, but yeah, I'm gonna make you see anyways.
You
This
really
was
do
actually-
have to back up in order to.
Yeah, it's hard not
I
to
gotta,
see.
dude. I have to get everybody off the screen so we can fit them on.
It's on there. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, it's not off the screen, off the entire orbit of this planet.
Yeah.
It's got his own gravity.
Well, what was I going to say? Damn it! I lost my train of thought because you guys being
You were
funny.
gonna say,
This
"That's what
was
she did."
this Protect Trans Kids individual YZY was featured on the A Better Way to A podcast thing that they do over there. A Better Way to A is just gay. 2A rights for some, but they'll pretend it's all like they'll pretend to care about you and your rights when reality. Mr. YZY has some opinions about you, dear viewers, and he thinks things should be done to you. That we will get into. Yeah, so this was on the Better Way to A, which is also the Lead and Steel's greatest defender, and all of his optics are lead and steel, which I find quite funny. Now, maybe this is a good question for the panel. A lot of people are very upset that illegal aliens are getting deported, and they use all sorts of very funny reasoning to try and get around this. Recently, Mr. Gavin Newsom was horrified that ICE would remove children from actively working on a weed farm. Some would say there's parallels to mid-19th century practices, but I don't know. What's your take on all that?
Who's gonna
I
pick-
think they
who's
have
gonna have
modernized
the-
farming equipment.
How are we going to use cheap labor to pick the cotton? I mean cannabis.
Right. Yeah, when they're literally running away from the fields and arresting children, which is going to come up shortly. I mean, if you want to see it in more detail, here's the Better Way to A podcast, YZY Prince, Mr. Protect Trans Kids, which again, it's public on a different platform, not even yours, good sir. Don't try and copyright it. He is one of the few individuals that could make a Barrett seem small, which is an accomplishment all in and of itself. Now, this picture to me is perfect because you have the guy on the right with the long gray hair and the curled wrist, and no testosterone to be found, if a little bit of extra mass. There's 6 people between the 4 of them there.
Yeah, isn't it in his latest video he says he has more blood, sweat, flesh, and tears than anyone else? I'm pretty sure that is a true statement.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, bro, there's a lot of blood floating around in there, a lot. Unfortunately, none of it reaches his head.
A lot of cholesterol too, probably.
Yeah. Single-hand, for somebody who hates capitalism, he is single-handedly keeping his local Denny's in business. Let's see. I mean, if you want to see that in more detail. All right, bro. So he has there's somebody on the Discord that's I don't know if you want to call it like feeding him information or feeding him something, that's for sure. But I posted one of his videos on the Discord, obviously making fun of it. People, you guys as well, made fun of it, and that pissed him off. He messaged me on Instagram. He's like, "Keep talking shit." And I was like, "All right, fair enough." And I mean, this is the thing. It's very easy to rage bait these people into doing something very stupid. Like, I don't know, let's say a false copyright strike. That would be really dumb to do. Really dumb to do. Because, I mean, that's going to get your channel in trouble, right? Not mine, but yours for sure. So good luck with that, good sir.
That could even get him into some monetary hot water. Lacklusters over on YouTube saying false copyright strikes are easy to win in a civil suit, and you can even collect legal fees.
Sure,
You check out section
again,
512F.
all of you gentlemen in the chat right now on YouTube and Rumble have afforded me the ability to fight these people that have, let's say, incompatible beliefs. So it is only just for me to take your support and use it in the right avenues. So he follows up with even more threats. He sends me a letter from the state of South Dakota, allegedly like shutting down my FFL. He's like, "Does the state of South Dakota know that you're conducting business in the state without an active LLC?" I have an active LLC. I literally just checked it today, and I had like a $200 fee from my what's it called, register agent that I had to pay. But I mean, that's literally it. I promise you, I will make your life miserable if you keep effing with me. And keep in mind that all that we did is post his own public YouTube video in a Discord chat. And again, I promise I will make your life miserable while sending me, photos of allegedly a certificate of administrative distribution or dissolution from the state of South Dakota. I mean, I don't know. It seems a little threatening. Okay. Now, I wouldn't necessarily send me photographic evidence that I could share with all of you and then also bring up in court later if it happened to do with something like a false copyright strike or something. I personally wouldn't do that. And then, of course, he follows up. Trust me, I'm better at this than you are. We will see about that, good sir. But I mean, not to wave the stick around, right? But I think you have maybe 2,000 subs, and I have, maybe a little bit. Maybe you could just say the numbers don't necessarily support that you're better at it than I am. Not saying that necessarily you're bad, although I will let the audience be the judge of the quality of your content and the content of your character or lack thereof. And then I just respond, "Oh, thanks for reminding me to update that." And again, don't let these people make you afraid. Don't let these people like threaten you. These people are, in this case, legitimately fat losers with nothing else to live for. They're loose cannons on a multitude of SSRIs, depression pills, whatever it might be. They hate themselves and they take it out on you and everyone around you.
Yeah, what's he gonna do? Sit on you?
Hey, Focus Trip, how dare you talk back? How dare you talk about my commander, Mia Rose?
Yeah, Mia Rose. I mean, listen, it's a public video, bro. Like, he has comments. Although, again, he very heavily polices his own comment section. Not a lot. I mean, you can do that. That's fine. That's fine. I let most people say whatever they want in chat to my own personal detriment at times, but say la vie, you guys say what you want to say. In fact, who's the first guy in here? Underwater basket weaving man. The second after I scheduled this new stream, immediately as I did it, had a full end tower in chat. I watched it happen as soon as I clicked the button. Unbelievable skill, timing, refined over years of Call of Duty lobbies.
Dedication.
Yeah. But and there was somebody else in here whining. I think somebody said it was one of Carl Casarda's butt buddies that was whining about me going after YZY, which again is, it's a public video, public YouTube platform. People are allowed to respond as they see fit.
Yeah,
So,
I'm no lawyer, but I think what he has done here meets the definition of tortious interference. Coming after you with false claims to damage your reputation or business and to intentionally interfere with your contractual obligations and relationships.
yeah, I mean, maybe it would be very fun since when you file these YouTube takedown requests, you have to give YouTube your address and everything else. Maybe it would be very fun to just see where this thing goes. Could be very fun. But I hope that he has a good attempt at making my life miserable as I'm sitting on vacation 2,000 miles away, hanging out with bros on a Wednesday afternoon. But before we actually get to the content, and believe me, there's a lot of content to discuss. Before we get to the content, let's just you guys have been incredibly generous already. And I'm going to get to it. Now, again, because this got separated from YouTube because of the false copyright strike, I have to read these off. I can no longer pull them up on screen. So I'm just going to read them off from the back. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Absolute Moonman for 10 says, "Here's $10. I better see a Tito PFP. And also push the stream back 2 hours so I can get Popeyes, please. And thank you. I will put you on a no-fly list." That is our local federal informant, Mr. Moonman, putting us on a no-fly list again. I'm going to be stuck here forever if you do that, bro. Yeah, but also if you did want another stream in 2 hours, congratulations. There is another stream in 2 hours linked in the YouTube chat. You can go over there and I just saw Chud McGill's super chat. Unbelievable. And you can go subscribe to it and watch that when it comes out. Andrew Vachon for 5. Hope you're having a good night, sir. Says setting the over-under for late start at 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Everybody place your bets. Well, I think we were closer to 22 minutes than 4 minutes and 22 seconds. But thank you for the 5, sir. Chud McGill for 2 says the person in the thumbnail looks like incredibly gassy. Actually, so I just looked up world's fattest person, and YZY just happened to pop up with that candid photograph of him holding the Guinness Book of World Records trophy for it. So it just happened to line up. But thank you, Mr. Chud. Andrew, for another 2, says, this is why you always bet the over, kids. Yeah, no kidding. I think you said that like 10 minutes later and we still weren't live. Let's see. The light spore for 5 says, God, last time I was this early, they had to cut me out of my mother. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Ooh.
Ouch, bro. And Firearms Fitness for 2 says, are you still reviewing Firearms and Fitness? How's it going, bro? Hope you're doing well. Says, are you still reviewing products viewers send you? Yes, but it has to be specific. If it's something that I've reviewed 10 times, I can't just do it over and over and over again. Mark for 2 says, early end, I don't know. He tried to think of something funny. Good try. Jay Lewis for 2 also says something very funny. He says, gay. I agree. Oh, no. All right, let me see here. Do I have to refresh this every time, really?
Yes.
Oh, this is gonna take forever, bro.
It's horrible.
Oh no. Dan for 2 says self-proclaimed anarchist told YouTube, laughing, pointing emoji. Yeah. Run to daddy government to help you out, you self-proclaimed anarchist. Funny man. SIG Sauer for $50 says fight the good fight. Also, F Trench. Well, listen, I think Trench has something to say.
I like to wear one around my neck because I'm gay.
Also, that is at $50 SIG Sauer. You're gonna need it, my friend, because you have been in some very, very hot water, and you even had to make a statement on it today that wasn't totally acting like an asshole. We may cover that at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually put out a statement on the shooting at the Air Force Base. Chud McGill for 2 says Burger King's strongest troon groomer. Wow, thank you, Chud. Appreciate it. Can neither confirm nor deny. Loops the Cat for 5 says send the people like him to North Korea and see how quickly they change their tune about dear leader and capitalism. Well, listen, man, that wasn't real communism or something, or that's the real fascism, but us here in America, that's the other type of fascism, even though they're completely separate. And then Loops the Cat for another 2 says, we need a commie tower. Give me a C. Yeah, that's right. Do commie towers. Commie towers are much, much more appropriate. All right, and we're going to leave off with there as we head into the main course. Is that a good way to put it? The main course?
Do you want to
No,
go
it's
to
more like
the
the
couple on
buffet.
Rumble?
I can't see the ones on Rumble. I don't have Rumble.
Okay, I can cover those if you'd like real quick.
Yeah.
Stealth Life for $10 says YZY loves to play the reasonable leftoid character. The 3D2A sector has a small but very vocal section of people like him. People in quotations, of course. And then Plastic Guy for $1 says Focus told us on Rumble we're his favorite.
That's true. Rumble is my favorite audience. Although, speaking of Rumble, Richard, we actually have to do a 5-hour Rumble stream this month, dedicated Rumble only, because to keep in their creator program, you have to do 5 hours exclusively on Rumble, and it's the 23rd. Okay. So we might end up doing something just like covering the worst gun fails of all time and just make it like a mega stream. So something we can only do on Rumble. So it'll be a Rumble exclusive.
I like it.
Yeah, we'll try and do something like that. But all right, now again, this is an edited down version of YZY's video that is completely fair use to comment on, to critique, and to offer our thoughtful criticism on. And keep in mind that half of this content isn't even his; he stole it from somebody else, and I'm stealing it from him.
Criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens fully naturalizing? Yeah, that includes. And what do you think? There's a special category of person.
The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of evasion. So it's an option we're actively looking at.
We also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that they're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here.
I'm going to tell you.
All right, before we get into that, so yeah, now those clips are pretty based, actually. Now I'm not a MAGA man myself, not personally, just not a fan of a lot of the shenanigans going on and the people behind the government, if you want to call it that. But what those clips are essentially getting at is, yeah, people who are here that may have even an American passport or may have been born here as a dreamer, so to illegal parents, those shouldn't necessarily be citizens. In no other country in the world can you have a anchor baby in the same way that you can, for some reason, in the US. Thanks, Ronald Reagan. But it's just, yeah. So, I mean, listen, if these people, I don't care if they've been here 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I don't care if they have kids here. If they're here illegally, and especially if they're committing crimes, which by definition being here is a crime. But if they're assaulting people, part of gangs, selling illegal substances, human trafficking, whatever it might be, get rid of them. It's just the way of the world, the way that this works. If you're a nation, if you have borders, which again, these people would probably argue against that concept to begin with. But if you have such a thing and you have sovereignty, you can police who comes and goes.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just didn't appreciate that jump scare that he went from.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and these guys always take it out of context, and they're going to make it seem, because the title of YZY's video is something like "I'm not going to FN El Salvador" or something like that, and you don't have to either. And yeah, buddy, you're an American born to American parents here. You're not going to El Salvador. Also, just curious, why would going to South America be such a problem? I thought it was lovely. Why wouldn't you want to go to this very diverse third world countries? I thought
going there would create a huge strain on the taxpayer, and also a huge strain on whatever cargo aircraft DHL or FedEx is contracted out to get.
It would also, yeah, depending on where he goes to, that could cause a local food shortage. So, I mean, maybe it is actually a matter of life and death. He's like, listen, guys, I can't go to El Salvador, okay?
Earthquakes, tsunamis.
El Salvador is a food desert. All right, there are no Denny's, there are no Starbucks. It's a food desert.
Mm. Yeah, but all right, let's now I had to cut out a lot of his cringe because he makes each one of these statements and then he shows some gay rifle with a gay optic, meaning lead and steel on top, doing gay stuff, and he's like, to make him seem like really tough, like, listen guys, I'm not going to El Salvador. But I cut out all the shooting stuff for YouTube's sakes because they don't like it when we touch the guns.
Is it an
right now?
No?
I cut it out. I think it was like not quite that gay, but similar, close. We're talking whatever cringe thing you want to think of, you can think about it.
Hey, there's actually.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not fucking going to El Salvador. With the stroke of a pen, Donald Trump's fascist regime has stolen tens of billions of dollars from people.
Our fascist regime, unbelievable, dude. Did you guys know that we're living in like a fascist cyberpunk Handmaid's Tale thing or something? Whatever Reddit told me, that's what we're living in right now.
If everything
there's
is
a
fascist,
dozen
then nothing is
McDonald's
fascist.
there's a dozen. Hey, not all hope is lost. There's a dozen restaurants of McDonald's over in El Salvador.
Bro, he
All
can make
12?
it. He can make it.
12's
I
not
believe.
enough.
I believe in him.
12's not
I
enough.
believe in him.
He would bankrupt them.
Yeah, that's how you know you're not living in a fascist country when you're able to criticize the government that you live under.
Yeah, he's like, as he's posting to a public platform, threatening people and also, filing copyright claims using the legal system. Also, going against an elected president, like that's how fascists operate. That's how we know how fascists operate. They get elected, don't they?
And
Listen,
for
there are so many bad things you can say about America, but calling it a fascist hellhole while you're living in your gay pride parade faggy nightmare. Like, I don't know, bro. I just don't buy it.
Man, and for no reason whatsoever, Donald Trump got both the popular vote and electoral college vote.
Fascists. It's because the fascists voted for him, right? So 51% of people are fascists.
Yeah.
Twice. Yeah, twice. Don't forget that. We don't talk about that time in the middle. There's something funky going on.
Gas leak here.
Yeah. But no, that guy was also a fascist, though. We just had fascist Trump or fascist Biden. So it's like, do you get fascist orange cream or fascist chocolate chip or something? I don't know.
Wasn't in like the documentary by the French, like it was like Fascist Trump and Genocide Joe or something like that?
Yes, Genocide Joe. That's right. Listen, man, all I know is that whatever president is in power, Raytheon stocks still be going up. Okay.
Have you looked at the chart for Palantir lately?
Well, since they got a massive government payday.
Yeah.
With the stroke of a pen, Donald Trump's fascist regime has stolen tens of billions of dollars from people like you and I. Therefore,
now, just a little bit of irony when he says stolen tens of billions of dollars from people like you and I. What he puts up is food assistance. Yeah, I know. It's like, what do you mean by that, good sir? Tens of billions of dollars from people like you. I'm pretty sure you're an adult. And listen, it's like that meme. I don't watch the show, but what's it from? Walking Dead, where Negan walks in and he's like, "What do you guys got?" or something. He's looking for somebody, and then the lady's like, "We're starving," and then he just looks her up and down. She's obviously kind of like 50 pounds overweight, and he's like, "Really? That's what you're going with? Starving? Really? That just doesn't sound right." Desktop in chat, I can't pull it up, but it's nice to see you here, sir. It says YZY admits to not wanting to have a job because having a job would support the fascist regime in power. Instead, you have to live off of the fascist regime and depend on handouts from them.
Yeah, a regular Henry David Thoreau over here.
It's like, okay, it's like the fascist government keeps you alive literally to a excessive degree, being that you are hundreds of pounds overweight. It's not like you're on life support and they're just giving you drip feeds. You're buying, I imagine, just a wide variety of garbage every day, and also spending your excess money on garbage products from, lead and steel or whatever other company is out there. And your main worry, the first thing you pull up on screen is SnapCut would take food away from millions of low-income families. Also, I mean, this is another thing. Food benefits, like, they have to be regulated, bro. You can't be buying $600-700 worth of garbage every 2 weeks. Like, you can't. It's funny because we give them all this money and then they create more health problems that they also cost us even more money down the road because you're all obese. It's like certain communities in the country have a 50, 60, 70% obesity rate. I mean, and you look at the food that they're buying, and it's horrifying. So I think that we should actually regulate a lot of this stuff to a much higher degree. If you are getting
100%.
free stuff from people like me, and actually people like the chat who support me, and then YouTube takes 30% of it, and then the federal government takes another 20, right? If you guys are paying for it
from Apple.
Well, yeah, another 20 for Apple too. But if you guys are paying it, you guys should have a collective interest in the health of the nation, because you are actually funding it.
Absolutely. I think he's really worked up about RFK Jr. trying to ban trans fats.
I worked at a gas station for about 2 years, and the amount of people who would come in and buy just absolute junk with food stamps, and I mean candy bars, chips, sodas out the wazoo, and then they would run a separate transaction to buy their beer and lottery because they know that they can't do it on the same transaction because the computer systems automatically deny it. Now, what I didn't understand is why they could buy all of that garbage, but they can't step right over to the hot food counter and buy an egg and bagel sandwich for breakfast because it's hot.
Yeah, I don't want to get too bogged down into the specifics of that, but no, it is horrifying. I worked at I worked at a grocery store when I was 16 years old, got my first job. And yeah, we would see that one family come in once a month when they get their EBT, and they would just 12 packs of soda, chips, whatever. Now, this is a decade ago at this point, 13 years ago at this point. Damn. Dating myself here. But yeah, it was just hundreds of dollars worth of garbage every month. And it's like, and I'm working, and I'm like, I can't like spend my money on this. I don't have enough free cash as a poor 16-year-old to do this, and I'm working. What the heck is going on?
You need to have more kids and change your. Oh, I won't get into it.
That's yeah.
Forcing dozens of rural hospitals to close. They are stealing food and healthcare from the poorest among us. The fascists in charge have ballooned the federal debt, and tens of millions of Americans are expected to lose healthcare coverage just altogether. And
now, keep in mind that this happens regardless of whoever is in power, and whoever is in power, if they disagree with them, is a fascist. So everything gets blamed on fascism. Yet I've never heard an actual definition of fascism from these people, and how our current administration is that thing. It is just it's a word they throw out that means nothing.
Well, there was one guy throughout history that truly defined fascism. I believe his name was Benito Mussolini, the creator of the fascist party. He said that fascism is the lucrative merger of corporations and state. So they're technically not wrong, but that's kind of what happens with capitalism as a whole, right? The free market provides, the people choose what option they want, and they go with it. Usually.
Well, Despop is in chat. Again, I can't pull it up, Despop. He says, it's my last day on this job, so I can say this. Everyone who I've dealt with at any federal building for SNAP, food stamps, or housing was on drugs, overweight, and always entitled to it. Yeah, that is one thing. If you threaten somebody's, like, to take away just their junk food, they come off so entitled to it. It's not like a thing of humbleness where they're like, for this amount of time, I'm in a hard spot and I need assistance. It's almost always just a unrepentant entitledness to that thing, regardless of how it affects anybody else. And yeah, Despop is also leaving Washington. I'm currently in Washington, but I'm only here for a week. So best of luck wherever you're going, sir. Appreciate it.
Hopefully it's more free than where you're at. Although I don't think you can go backwards.
Well, Washington and California are fighting it out for which state's the worst. So,
hey, Richard,
on the West Coast, anyways.
Yes, sir.
I'll have to correct you. Whatever Mussolini did, that's not real fascism.
Correct. Yes, indeed.
Very much so.
You see, because his fascism was rooted in a white patriarchal structure, and he wasn't able to see past his own institutional privilege.
Yeah, he definitely didn't receive a letter from Stalin praising him for his socialist activities in Fiume. That never happened. It's a lie.
In the next decade, they have stolen all of this money from the futures of your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, nephews, your friends and family. They have given this money, over $170 billion, to Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or what has become known as ICE. This money under.
You know what I just noticed is you can see his belly in the reflection of his glasses. So it's actually his body that runs down the chair, literally and figuratively, and then his arms that are like resting on his body as he's sitting. But you can actually see that in his Temu glasses. Also, these brave freedom fighters, why do they hide their face?
Hey, don't look at me. But
yeah, ignore Bucky down there.
I want to know what sort of chair he has. That way I can like stack 4 people on top of it and this chair will still not collapse.
Yeah.
Even his backdrop and his reflection and his whatever that is like resemblance of a fat slob.
You hate the rich, but do you have the courage to hate the poor? Listen, I know HK fans. They definitely have the courage to hate the poor. Also, he frames this disingenuously as everything in this video because he's like, they're taking money away from your kids, from your future. And then if you're like, oh yeah, we should protect my kids and my future from illegal aliens or from people taking their jobs from foreign countries, and they'd be like, whoa, no, not like that, bro. Not like that. That's good when they take your stuff. Yeah, bro is the Discord bot meme. It's correct.
The big beautiful bill will be used to build over 100,000 beds. $14 billion is allocated for transportation and removals. 10,000 new deportation officers. They're spending billions for tech upgrades. They're spending billions on state and local cooperation programs, and they're going to be training more elite BORTAC agents. ICE has been tasked with extrajudicial extraditions, kidnapping anyone they deem.
It's ICE's job is to find illegal aliens and to remove them, criminals, whatever else it might be. So yeah, I mean, he ran on increasing deportations and removing more people from the country that shouldn't be here, and that is exactly what's happening.
Man, looking at those pictures of those facilities, they look like a much higher standard of safety, quality, and comfort than that of a U.S. Army barracks inside America.
Yeah.
Brother, you ever seen a U.S. prison? They are rough. These are all brand new, shiny facilities.
No, I mean they're brand new. They just got made, bro.
Being undesirable, and this is usually Black, Latino, Arab, Native people, and deporting them, oftentimes to countries that people have never even been to.
Yeah, it's people who shouldn't be here, who aren't from here, getting returned to not here. Like, duh. But this is also minorities. Bad things happen. Minorities most affected.
Have no familial ties to, have no business being there entirely altogether.
The Trump administration first deported 261 people to El Salvador on March 15th. Just Thomas, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announces the feds have revoked hundreds of student visas. Rubio says the government has the right to rescind visas for foreign-born students who take part in demonstrations. A few days ago, ICE agents were caught on video taking a Tufts University PhD student into custody in Massachusetts.
Again, if you are here on a student visa and you do something that violates your visa agreement, you don't actually have a right to be here. Americans don't necessarily get this, but listen, if you go to Japan and you fuck around a little bit, they remove you and they ban you from the country for life.
Yeah, what was his
name? Johnny Somali, who
Somali.
got chased out of like 3 different Asian countries. Now he's gonna do hard time in South Korea. Let me know how that goes for you, bro. Yeah, countries are sovereign. You don't have a right to be here if you ain't from here, bro.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you're a student on a work visa, on a student visa, illegally here in general. Doesn't matter, bro. Doesn't matter. Just because you have a special situation, you're not exempt from the law, my dude.
Destroying the CNC machine at the university does not constitute as studying.
Yeah, also true. Yeah, it's like if you take part in violent protests and you're on a student visa, like you should absolutely be taking a look at and see, do we actually want this person here taking our tax dollars and our university seats, or should we take that time and energy and put it on one of our own people, right?
Yeah, we live in a really interesting time where I feel like there is more than ever that I've seen a real appetite for mass deportations, which I kind of assumed would always be a major minority position, and it still might be minority, but at this point, I'm not even convinced of that. And yet, I feel like the administration is not taking the bait in terms of, I still haven't seen any videos that are really sympathetic. I mean, the people that the left has to put on a pedestal are still like the criminals, the guy who was, accidentally deported, get a senator going down to have a margarita with him.
Bro, do you got an incoming missile or something? What is that?
Yeah, there's like a plane going on. It's like James is about to go all fuzzy in a second.
Yep.
Like
They got him.
Mortared.
They got
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, but yeah, wasn't that thing where they were like pretending like that this was a tragic event, and then there was like the guy was an MS-13 member, and it's like,
Did he have MS-13 tats on his knuckles?
Yeah. No, it's just ridiculous. So they're totally taking the bait, and yet the right really hasn't taken the bait in terms of providing super sympathetic videos, which in principle they probably should at some point. But I feel like they've really prioritized people that no one really cares about, and it's worked out pretty well because there's definitely an appetite. So we live in a really weird time where there's the appetite for mass deportations, and yet I feel like the right is moving along rather strategically.
Yeah, they need a George Floyd to galvanize the people against them. A Jorge Floyd to galvanize the people against them. But no, yeah, I mean, we're seeing the pendulum swing in the other direction. If you have, Heart and Cellar, 1968, if you have 60 years roughly of unmitigated disaster importation policies, that is it hits a certain point where it crosses the blood-brain barrier to the normie consciousness, and it's like, oh, this is a problem. And just because it's not a problem where you live, like somebody said it in chat, like the cost of living increase, and people just see that, right? It's like, well, my dad bought a home 20 years ago for this, and now it's worth quintuple the price, and my wages haven't gone up like that. So are you saying I'm never buying a house? And then you see people come in on assistance and immediately get set up in housing and whatnot, and you're like, I don't think I like the way this system works.
No.
Out of curiosity,
I think we need change.
You guys should take a guess at what the visa overstay rate was as far as the overall number for people in 2023. The reported numbers
Percentage?
that we have. The overall number, not the percentage itself. Guess how many people?
Overstayed. Well, I'd have to know how many visas were handed out. Like,
Yeah.
I would say it's probably greater than 50% overstayed.
Collectively, in total, there was 510,363 suspected overstays.
Mm.
So over half a
And that's
million
off of
people.
and that's off of granted work visas.
Correct.
So not even
that's off of
counting
what
illegals.
that's off of what we know
half a
are
million.
here, and should have already been gone.
Yeah.
And
But
that
again,
was
work visas, it's a
2023.
small part. It all adds up. Whatever the real number of illegals here are, whether it's 10, 20, 30 million or more, it's a problem. It's a real problem.
That's overall visas. That's work, student, non-work permits, and visitation visas.
Yep, it's a problem.
We witnessed where dozens.
Now, I wonder if we back up for a second. I don't know if she was wearing that head garment for religious reasons, but I wonder if she might actually be terrified of where she's going back to.
No, I don't want to go to Brazil.
Yeah. No, not Albania.
We witnessed where dozens of masked men showing up in unmarked cars, wearing body armor and pointing guns and rifles and covering or just removing.
Now he's going to show clips of what I believe are the California weed farmers being dispersed.
Completely their name badges and IDs are kidnapping people at gunpoint and disappearing them off the street in broad daylight. ICE has deported dozens of people to El Salvador who have never even been to El Salvador before. They have no connections. And Trump has said that he wants to keep sending citizens to CCON.
El Salvador claims it is.
Again, citizen is a very loose term. Just because somebody has a piece of paper, meaning that they're American, doesn't. I don't believe in magic paper. I'm not a magic dirt theorist either. Like it doesn't make you the thing just because you happen to be an anchor baby for somebody else. But yeah, and it's like they're rounding these people up from like what is essentially indentured servitude, because we've heard stories of where people use the ICE workers or the illegal workers and then just turn around and report them to ICE if they don't do what they want or if they no longer need them, and then they take advantage of the labor and then they get rid of the labor. Like, I mean, these people are being abused, and so that's all counter to the point that they just shouldn't be here in the first place.
Certainly less shitty than the practices done by local law enforcement. For example, over in Maryvale, like a subsection of Phoenix, Arizona, the cops were doing things like telling like illegal immigrants, like, "Hey, you must give us some money, or else we'll report you to to ICE, and then they'll deport you unless you give us money and give us a little bit of a cut."
That does not surprise me. Terrible, but does not surprise me. All right, gentlemen, you guys, you need to stop chatting so much so that we can finish this out, because we only have an hour left before we hop over to less than an hour before we hop over to the other stream. But we're gonna try and get through some of this real fast, because I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of this stuff at the end, because you guys deserve your time in the light. Chud McGill for 2 says he not only looks but talks like a fat Redditor. Now I sped this up; it's at 1.5x speed so that we could get through it a little bit quicker, but at 1x speed, it sounds like you think it would. Thank you, Mr. Chud. Tactical Potato for 10 says, add this to the Destroy YZY fund, please. Added to the list. Thank you, sir. You are Trip's strongest defender. Thank you, Mr. Tactical Potato. Chud for 2 says, Carl Casarda's fattest fleshlight. All right, thank you for that. Loops the Cat for 2 says, make Me General the intro song from now on. Me General. What is Me General?
I will
General?
look it up and send it to you.
Okay. We will take that under consideration, good sir. We appreciate it. Senor Spielbergo for 10 says, YZY banned from 109 Dunkin' Donuts. There, you got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Huge Ass for 20. Thank you, Mr. Ass. Says, who let Boogie make gun content? That's right. It is Boogie 2988 coming at you through the power of the internet. That is very funny. Dan S for 2 says, acts like a socialist, but eats like a capitalist. That's right. Andrew Vachon for 5 says, as a formerly rotund individual, this man, question mark, needs a steak, some cardio, and a relationship with Christ, most importantly. Should fix the lefty tendencies as well. Yes, read your Bible twice a day, repeat until symptoms go away. Something like that. Thank you, Mr. Vachon, for the 5. Very base. Firearms and Fitness again for 2 says, can I send you an option you haven't reviewed? Yeah, if it's interesting, just send me an email, focustrip@gmail.com. I will be happy to take a look at it, sir. Andy Cody for 2 says, goes to bed early just so he can eat breakfast. That's good. The burns are very good. Sabardic Psycho for 2 says, I'm still at work, gosh darn it. Stop the stream. Shut it down. No, I mean, listen. YZY tried to shut it down. It didn't work. We're still here. We are still going, good sir. But thank you very much, Sabardic. Moonman for another 5. That's right. There's one in 2 hours. Do not worry. It is going all day, even if I die of a heart attack somewhere in between. Moonman for 5 says, what is this giant eye doctor roll-up sunglasses thing he is wearing? No, somebody found that, Bucky. Wasn't that on the Discord? It's like a $3 Temu mask.
Yeah, no, I did. It was on AliExpress. You could get it for $3. I thought it was one of those Asian visors, but no, it's actually a legitimate product to buy from slave labor from China.
Yeah, nothing screams anti-fascist socialist like slave labor products from China or something. Let me see here. Thank you, Mr. Moodman. Rad for $10. Thank you very much. Says, good to see you live while I'm not at work. Yeah, it's a little bit earlier, but I hope you're doing well. Thanks for the hours of entertainment. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Rad, for the 10, and you yourself are very rad. How many people are actually watching? I can't tell. I have no idea how many people are here.
Let's see.
448 live on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. 448. Perfect. Excellent. Chud McGill for 2 says, I heard he ate 6 million calories in 271 hours. I checked the math on that, and it seems off. I mean, he is rotund, but I think it's still a little bit off.
I think he ate 12.
Yeah, got to pump those numbers up with inflation. Yeah. Bigger.
Got to get the holy Big Mac.
Moonman for 10. I was going to make a joke about something. I'll leave it. Moonman for 10 says, post-heart seller must go. They can enjoy the ocean floor via Connex-based submersible. Damn, Mr. Moonman. I mean, although he is... Honestly, if you're trying to do a regime change in South America, you just flood all the ex-U.S. What's the good word? Transients to some foreign country to destabilize it. I think that's your move, Moonman. Giving you ideas. I'm giving the State Department ideas. Chud McGill for 2 says, I wish this was the fascist regime they say it is. Yeah, no, they think that they live in The Handmaid's Tale or some other Marvel movie, something or other, where they're the heckin' good guys or something. But it's all fantasy. It's all fantasy. Just like their delusions on gender and reality. It's all delusions. Thank you, Mr. Chud. Huge Ass for 5 says, ever listen to the Fatty McGee skit from Adam Sandler? This dude is Fatty McGee. I will take your word for it. I have not seen that, though. I'm not a Adam Sandler enjoyer, per se. Friend for 10, thank you very much, Mr. Friend, says, if we send him to El Salvador, he could feed the whole country. You're thinking of Haiti. You're thinking of Haiti, good sir. Mm-hmm. But thank you for that, Mr. Friend. Appreciate the 10. And Tuss the Third, last one for now, for 2, says he's on the no-fly list because he's too fat. Fattest regime. Yes, we will have the fattest regime change in all the land in 2025. All right. We will leave off for there right now. Thank you very much for the kind words, gentlemen.
Latin America's biggest, with capacity for 40,000 inmates. LA has said the prison cost $115 million to develop and equip. Video taken from inside the facility often shows prisoners tightly packed together with their head shaved. It cited a study that found
I wonder what some of these tattoos mean. I wonder if they have any cultural relevance to actions that they may or may not have done.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's just cultural
inmates
differences.
Cultural appropriation or something.
Yeah.
average of 6.45 square feet of space, which is below international standards.
Donald Trump has said that he doesn't consider citizens a special class of people and that he would have no problem sending people who have been here a long time to El Salvador. People.
Well, again, they're talking about like dreamers and anchor babies and people who are overstaying work visas. So I mean, it's more complicated than. Listen, bro, they're not sending you to El Salvador. It's not going to happen. They checked the logistics, just doesn't work out.
Can't afford the shipping.
They looked at the shipping fee and were like, you can stay.
People have been telling me for years that they're scared, that trans people will be rounded up and placed into concentration camps. That,
sorry, this is the Fantasyland stuff. I want to hear this in full.
Citizens a special class of people, and that he would have no problem sending people who have been here a long time to El Salvador. People have been telling me for years that they're scared, that trans people will be rounded up and placed into concentration camps, that state and local law enforcement will seize someone's kids for providing them health care when they're trans, that women will be sent to breeding colonies. Like a Handmaid's Tale. I have found that many use this.
All right. So there's a lot to unpack there. So first off, you're afraid that they're gonna come and round up trans people while there's like pride parades and other degenerate crap going on in the biggest cities in America. It's like, oh, okay, bro, whatever. Maybe there's an argument. Now, when you talk about child health care, I mean, that's an interesting one because I do seem to remember the federal government wanting to force all sorts of things on children and parents that maybe they didn't want, and they tried to force it upon military members and all sorts of different people and impose fines upon them. In other countries, I don't know, like maybe Australia, they maybe even did create camps to treat a certain cold or flu or something. I was a little bit loose on the details, but you're not wrong, Shadow Force, but listen, Ram Ranch is doing great over there. Okay, he's single-handedly repopulating the something or other. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, but it's all fantasy, and then it leads into my Handmaid's Tale, where women are selectively bred or something like that. And then he also throws in there in the middle, of course, protect trans kids, where he's like, they're going to deny healthcare to trans children. Trans children do not exist. Only pedophile adjacent parents. There's no such thing as trans children. Not a real thing. Only abusers and abuse victims. Yeah. So I don't know, bro. And also, listen, if a husband and a wife get divorced or they're separated and the wife wants to do something funky with the kids, I think that it should 100% be the father's responsibility to say no, and that should be upheld in the court of law. I mean, obviously, this stuff should just be removed entirely, but without both parents' consent, doing a life-changing operation should just simply not be possible. That's my opinion.
Agreed.
I don't, in this guy's worst case scenario, what happens?
He has a heart attack.
No. In this fantasy land that he just created in his mind right here, what happens is degeneracy goes down to 0 and society flourishes. That's his worst case awful scenario. Like, that's his bad ending. It's like,
yep.
I don't believe you. It's not true. But if I granted you your position, it's like, so what? Yeah. No more trans kids. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No more public degeneracy. Yeah. You're right. Like, well, I fail to see how this is a problem, good sir.
As a sign to fall into apathy and despair. I hear talk of people wanting to flee the country, but I caution you that this is what the fascists want. They want you to be scared. And I don't blame you for being scared, because I'm scared too. But if you allow me for a second, I'd like to push back just a little bit on this apathy and despair. If you have come to the conclusion that one day the police, ICE, BORTAC, FBI, or even a civilian militia, a Christian nationalist militia, if you have come to the conclusion that one...
Hey, did he just talk about me, a Christian nationalist militia?
Christian nationalist militia, yep.
Can you define...
Hey, at least the Yakub Liberation Front is safe.
Yeah. Again, it's all fantasy, though I do agree with him 100%. They are scared, they are depressed, they are apathetic, and they are on a multitude of different drugs, some legal, some not, some pharmaceutical in nature, some recreational, let's say, that keep them in this constant mental state. And it is there's a way out. There's a simple, big, beautiful way out. It's called Return to Christ.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a Remington shotgun.
No, that would be a co-brainer, or should I say a no-brainer?
Ooh.
Same thing.
I'm more New Age. I like the KSG.
No, that would actually fit with a weirdo lefties. It would be what would it be? A Keltec? It'd have to be a Keltec of some sort.
One day they're going to try to kidnap you. Are you going to be resigned to fate and go willingly? Are you just going to follow with them, bow your head, take a knee, and just let them brutalize you? Because
Yeah, don't be like George Floyd. Don't take a knee, guys.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not fucking going to El Salvador. Let's back up and follow this idea to its logical conclusion. If you have come to the conclusion that, yes, ICE is going to kidnap me for being Latino, or the sheriff's department is going to take...
They're not kidnapping you for being Latino. They're kidnapping you for being illegal and doing illegal things, good sir. Come on. We don't need to lie to each other, do we?
my trans kid away from me. Or I'm going to be rounded up for...
Oh, sorry. He said something about trans kids again. He, for some reason, the trans kid thing just... It keeps popping up to this guy. Now, this guy is not married. He doesn't have kids. But he's real invested in the sexual aspects of these children for some reason. I would never insinuate something, but it just seems odd, maybe worth pointing out.
Maybe
he's going to kidnap me for being Latino. So the sheriff's department is going to take my trans kid away from me. Or I'm going to be rounded up for one day for my political beliefs and placed in a camp. If you are just now entertaining the possibility that one day the state can and will and possibly may try to kidnap you and lock you away, first of all, welcome. The water is warm here. Second of all,
bro, nobody is coming for you. Literally nobody. People are annoyed that you're around. The only time people are afraid when they see you is if they're running the local buffet line, bro.
I just like the phrasing can and will and possibly may.
Well, listen, if you were looking for good writing here, I don't think this is the proper place for that, good sir.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to resign to fate and let the masked men disappear you in front of your family, desecrate your home, deprive you of basic human rights? Or are you going to tell them no? Because, and here's the thing that they don't want you to think about too much. You don't have to fucking go to El Salvador. You can just say no. Fuck you. You see, fascist...
you can just say no. Just say no to getting deported. The government can't do anything against you if you say no.
Works every time.
Too much. You don't have to fucking go to El Salvador. You can just say no. Fuck you. You see, fascists operate on fear. For anyone that is not in the fascist in-group, the party in charge needs you to be afraid of them so that you don't challenge their power. They go to great lengths to tell you through propaganda that your resistance is futile, that failure to comply with their edicts are terrorism, that you are an enemy of this.
Now, I agree with him a little bit, but from the other perspective, because I do remember the regime a couple years ago going after like grannies for walking onto a property and calling them terrorists. I do remember that actually happening, right? So, I mean, it is possible. And yes, the powers that be, the evil powers that be, do want you to be afraid, to be isolated, to be in these, what do you want to call them? Death spirals, I suppose you could say, where, you know, you're lashing out at everyone and everything around you. They don't want you to have a family. They don't want you to build a community. And the greatest act of rebellion that you can have in this modern age is to be traditional, to get married, have kids, be in good shape, and uphold traditional values. That's the most radical thing you can do.
Did he make a video where he was outraged when the Amish people were being raided? Their farms were being raided?
Those are fascist sympathizers. So even if the hammer of fascism was wielded against them, they don't deserve it. Also, they're white. So, I mean, rules don't apply.
The one gentleman who was arrested for silently praying across the street from a clinic.
Not relevant.
A pastor.
Rooted in white supremacy or something.
Hauled out in front of his children at gunpoint for the great crime of silently praying.
What about, I mean, well, you could look at the churches that they shut down with force, right? I mean, you know, for some reason, I don't think he's as concerned with those people practicing their First Amendment rights as he is with, for some reason, his fascination with trans children. Yeah, I think he's got different things on his mind.
This seems odd.
State, you're lawless, paid actor. Fascists need you to be resigned to fear because at the end of the day, they are made of the same blood, sweat, and flesh as the rest of us. They have
some more than others.
Families, they have names, they have addresses. They don't want to be.
Bruh, like I don't know, man, but that seems a little spicy for YouTube. I don't know. Being like, hey, you know, these cops and ICE officers, they have families and addresses, and they don't want to be. You know, he cuts off right before he says it, but that's a little spicy, my friend.
Fun
you know,
fact. judges, police, all of those, their information is redacted from public listings and things like that. So it has to come from an inside source.
Sorry, I just saw Dildo Faggin's super chat. He says $2 says this man bleeds mayo.
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil. It's a natural conditioner, don't you know? Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe don't threaten, public officials. Probably not a good move for your own personal safety. It's like these people, they're coming after me. It's like, no, you threatened them on a public YouTube channel. Like, what are you talking about?
Flesh as the rest of us. They have families, they have names, they have addresses. They don't want to be. There are
And
few
so do
good
you.
reasons to live
Yeah, that does work in reverse, bro. It does work in reverse.
in the United States. But as an American citizen, we have access as civilians to arguably the best and most modern small arms weaponry in the world. Say what you will about American culture, this is the one thing we are very good at. For $500, you can buy an AR-15, you can buy a 30-round magazine, you can buy 150 rounds of 5.56.
So I do find it strange, and this is obviously the real meat of his video, is you have the preamble, right? This is the problem. What's the solution, right? This is the format of the video.
Is it final?
After saying, these people have families, homes, and addresses, he's like, well, what do we do? Well, you see, son, you get a gun, son. Somebody please get this man a gun. The local federal agent was like, this guy's doing my job for me. Sorry, Moon Man. Out of a job.
He doesn't even have a Daniel defense.
Oh, I know. It's not even... He can't afford a DD.
NATO rounds. I have spent years, literally years, showing you all that 3D printed guns like this AR-15 right here are capable.
All right. 3D printed crowd is never getting away from the degeneracy allegations. It's never happening.
Did you see the photo in Discord where the guy shot 130 rounds and he was like, it's good to go. And then he fired 131 and it fell apart and the upper disintegrated itself.
I'm glad they're out there tinkering. There's cool things you can do with 3D printing. Just,
Containing
Viable,
explosions.
not overly difficult to assemble, and radically, they're just fucking, they're cool as fuck, honestly. They're just rad. And they're made with oftentimes the same parts as law enforcement. An AR-15 is an AR-15 at the end of the day, regardless. Whether you live in California, Nevada, Washington, or Minnesota, you can order the parts online, ship them directly to your front door. Anyone, anywhere in the world could arm themselves discreetly and effectively if they choose to do so. Here,
he might be advocating, he might actually be advocating for illegal activities in some of those states. Ordering these parts to assemble a firearm in some of these states is not kosher.
No.
For lack of a better term. So that might actually be a bannable offense, advocating for illegal activity in a YouTube video.
I mean, isn't
I
like
sure
YouTube
hope
is
somebody
North
didn't
California based?
download this video for future reference.
in America, we have it pretty much made where we can buy the parts to build an AR-15. You can install things like force reset triggers, super safeties. You can equalize the playing field between you and the officer. You need to consider the fact that a rifle is a force equalizer when it comes to defending yourself against a fascist regime. Everyone's scenario is going to look a little bit different. For some people, it might look like a Glock 19 that they start carrying with them in their waistband or purse. For others, it might look like a 20-inch AR-15 with a mag full of M85A1 rounds. It might look like a bug-out bag in your car. It might look like motion-activated lights or cameras around the exterior of your house. Everyone's situation will be a little bit different, but you better send bachelors and come heavily armed because I'm not fucking going to El Salvador, and you don't have to.
So when he says send bachelors, I believe he's referencing the fact that he doesn't want to kill married people for some reason, right? Because that way they're single and don't have a family.
And in a counterexample, would a member of a polycule be considered a bachelor? I don't know.
I think he's only worried about bachelors because he knows that they don't have trans kids.
Oh, actually, good point. Yeah.
Will be a little bit different, but you better send bachelors and come heavily armed because I'm not fucking going to El Salvador, and you don't have to go either. The people that are taking your rights from you have names and addresses, and I assure you, when they show up to kidnap you, you don't have to go willingly. Thank you for watching. I hope.
One thing to add, wasn't there a group of people with a similar build, athleticism, proficiency, and training tried to do that over in like Dallas, like near Dallas at an ICE facility? How well did that go?
I mean, you know, these people's words are fortunately much more effective. I don't even want to say effective. That's not the right word, but they're much more boisterous than their actions.
I mean, yeah, but they're so unstable. It's
I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is they can pop off. They can pop off. There's no doubt about that, and that is part of the scary part about it. Yeah. Is that they're unhinged, and they fortunately they tell you what they want to do.
It's always the ones you most expect.
Well, they tell you exactly what they think of you. You are a fascist sympathizer, if not a fascist yourself. Bash the fash. Interrupt daily life of all people, and civilian casualties are not even a problem. They're, in fact, usually a benefit because that is more disruption. So, I mean, they'll tell you exactly what they believe and exactly what they are willing to do to achieve their goals. Also very possible. Well, we have about 30 minutes left, gentlemen. I'm going to try and get through all of these chats that you guys sent in here because I don't want to leave any of you guys hanging. You guys have been incredibly generous. And yeah, that is just for reference for anybody who just joined. This is the guy who false copyright struck my channel, gave me a copyright strike, took it down. I have filed the countersuit paperwork, and we will just continue to push this on through until we win it. By whatever means necessary.
Need a bulldozer to push him. Just saying.
Well, listen, you guys have given plenty of I guess support for heavy equipment, so we appreciate it, good sir. All right, let me pull these up. Where did we leave off? That's the question. I think. Andrew Vachon, here it is. I found it. Andrew Vachon for 5 says, I mean, would you choose a Francoist Spain or Maoist China? Fascism doesn't look so bad in comparison. Yeah. Maoist. Not many places I would rather not be than Maoist China. Killing fields of Cambodia would be a close second of not wanting to be at. Fortunately, I don't wear glasses. Dan S for 5 says, from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. Bro definitely took more than his needs. Yes, I believe that is in Acts, quoting what the ministry should be doing to each to his ability, to each to what he needs. Yeah, he's definitely taking more than what he needs. I agree. Thank you for the 5, Mr. Dan. Mr. Moonman for 10 says, if I could swap our communists for communists from third world countries, I would. The whining would stop, and they would probably find the whole food thing novel. Yeah, it's like people who flee from communism versus American communists is quite the difference.
I know quite a few pretty based Cubans, and they're
Yeah.
a lot of first generation.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, we see her in chat every now and again, but Focus Trip's wife is a pretty based Cuban. It's a joke. She's not actually Cuban. Let me see. Vintage Welfare for 2 says, just popping in to say hi to my sodomistic ebenoids. Those are 2 words you could string together. Appreciate it, Mr. Welfare. Thank you for the 2. Huge ass for 10. Thank you, sir. Says, hating the poor is an HK activity. As an HK enjoyer, this checks out. Yes, true. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, I want SIGs to be fat. Eat more fried chicken. Well, SIGs are about to get very skinny in terms of government contracts, if we're to believe anything. Moonman for 5 says, I work for the government and own several HKs. I can confirm I hate the poor. Thank you, Moonman, for the 5. This chat has thrown more money than that gentleman will see in his entire year. Penny for 2 says, I'm having a very good day, sir. Here's my money. Well, I'm glad you're having a good day. Thank you very much, Penny, for the 2. Huge ass for 5 says, YZY, more like Wheezy. Bro gets winded from his own mental gymnastics. That's good. 6 Hour for 10 says, those visa overstays were all our hardworking QC employees. Thank you for the 10, 6 Hour. I appreciate it. And you're probably not far off. The Moonman for 5 said, need that SIG Reddit screenshot with the VTuber in it. The Telegram Nazis need it. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. I have it. No, Lucas Botkin popped in the stream last night as I was showing this image. And I don't think he was like, he's like, odd time to join. You were showing that hentai thing. It's not hentai. It's just I don't think that's the right one.
Internal documents.
Yeah, well, that's what my response was. PTSD ? No, but was it? Let me see. I think, was this the one you were looking for? Was that it? No, I don't think so. Sorry, no, you're talking about Doobie. Now, I am not familiar with Doobie, what this thing is. So if this is some degenerate reference that I am too naive to understand, you guys can let me know. But Yeah, I think that's the one you're referring to. I think it's probably even posted in the Discord. All right. Where did it go? There we go. Huge Ass for 5 says, they're always so entitled to taxpayer-funded Gibbs. They never seem to feel entitled to get a job, though. No, I think as Despop was in here earlier saying, yeah, he doesn't want to get a job. He wants to live off of you and then call you a fascist sympathizer for literally funding his existence. Firearms and Fitness for 2 says, email sent. Cheers to you. Well, cheers to you, good sir. I will read that after the stream starts, or the second stream. The second stream is about to hit. We got about 25 minutes left. Art Vandalay for 5 says, this trans random immigrant oppression fantasy land is as plausible as the zombie apocalypse / without rule of law fantasy. Yeah, it's just not real. It's made up in their head. It doesn't exist in the real world anywhere. You can't point to its existence. It's just made up 100%. Thank you, Mr. Vandalay, for the 5. SIG Sauer for the 10 says, YZY is not trans by choice. It's due to a lack of dating options. Eat a salad, don't toss them. Thank you for the 10, Mr. SIG Sauer. I appreciate it. Huge Ass for $20 says, I can't brief YZY while putting on his slip-on shoes. Ouch. I'll have you know they don't make Converse in his size. Dildo Faggins for 5 says, man's too big to be abducted. Lol, I would know you are watching YZY, coward. Thank you, Mr. Faggins. Chud McGill for 2 says, fat odd diddler. Check this guy's hard drive. CP 100%. Yeah, can I get a hard drive check on Mr. YZY? It always turns out that these people are into the most degenerate stuff imaginable. Art Vandalay for 2 says, feds are cringed. Latinas are based. I don't know, man. I feel like Latinas start aging out at 28, bro. Maybe 27. Andrew Vachon for 5 says, anyone remember when the DOJ called Catholics who attend the TLM a domestic terror threat, or the man who was raided for opposing mass child slaughter? Yeah, no, they the federal government under certain regimes has targeted Catholics mostly. I think they're the biggest, most obvious one to go after as far as a Christian denomination, because let's be real, evangelicals will go along with almost anything. So I don't think they view evangelicals as much of a threat.
It was kind of wild that Biden was claiming to be Catholic while trying to persecute the most Catholics since what was that thing that happened?
That's one thing I'm actually curious about, because if you go against certain Catholic doctrines, you should be anathematized or excommunicated. So
he was denied communion.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So like, you can't even really call yourself a Catholic at that point if you get anathematized for your beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dildo Faggins again for 2 says $2 says, this man bleeds mayo. Yes. Huge Ass for 2 says, blood type Rocky Road. Andrew Vachon for 5 says, I bet I have sent more money in gear to Focus than this man makes in a year. Yes, if we tried to round up or the total of stuff that he has sent me this year, a Scar, what's the other one? Scar, Tavor, Leopold 2.5 to 8, which you can't find anymore. NXS Night Force 2.5 to 10. B.E. Myers Mall, PVS 14.
Didn't he send an Adapal?
He did. He sent me an App PLC and a Somo gear, and then he also sent me just recently. I got a Aimpoint Comp M5 and a GBRS Hydra mount. So we're talking like
$10,000-$15,000.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that he sent me. And Andrew Vachon is insanely generous. And I know he just traded his Tavor for a bunch of other cooler stuff. So 6 Hour for 10 says, a small % of trans is acceptable, such as when you're born with intersex organs, like Trench. I got him, Sig. No, so I mean, people always point to that. Like, what about intersex? Intersex is not a real thing. There's only ever one genetic pipeline for reproduction, even if you might have some genetic abnormality, which is what it is. It's a genetic abnormality. It's like if I had 6 fingers on my right hand, right? I'm not like I'm not male at that point. I just have the genetic abnormality. So even something like that is like 0.0.
It's very slim. Yeah.
It's like 0.001%. It's not even worth discussing. It's nothing. People like to point to that though as like, oh, but actually, what about this? Let's see. Puddle of Chud for 2 says nothing, but I'm sure that people responded to him with a certain set of letters. Son of Mandalore for 5 says, big fella gonna be a future loot drop. Unfortunately, the loot is garbage. Listen, bro, the biggest threat to YZY is heart failure.
I was going to say diabetes, but yeah.
Yeah. Diabetes. Bojangles for 5 says, all roads lead back to a certain tribe that wears a certain type of hat. Interesting. I've heard of this tribe before. Goyslop Actual for 5 says he's definitely hiding a huge schnoz under that mask. And that's Goyslop Actual, which is a Downs Hasidic Jew, which is just the ultimate, like the platinum rare pull card for a Downs individual. But thank you for that, Mr. Goyslop. Sometimes, you guys. All right, and then it's not refreshing, but let me go through here, and I should be able to get them this way.
I've got them if you don't.
I got them. Mr. Moonman says, I sent more money in super chats on fire in a week than this guy makes in a year. Yeah, well, again, at the beginning of the video, the first thing he pulls up is these guys are taking food out of my mouth, and it's like, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Moonman also has an absurd pear fetish for whatever reason. So
I don't get the lore behind the Tito pear, and I don't want to know.
He cracks himself up with it, so I enjoy it. It's fun.
He just finds it funny. Friend for 20 says, think of all the soap you can make from YZY. Wow, unbelievable for $20.
I don't know if I do that or not.
Imagine how much soap he needs to clean himself.
Yeah.
I don't. That's why I was saying I don't know if I.
Well, you're assuming he cleans himself, good sir.
It's a lot of flat.
Okay, so I was gonna say this is gross. Don't think about it. If you're eating right now, I'm very sorry. But how mega obese people wash themselves? The answer is they can't.
Or a pressure washer, maybe. I don't know.
Well, unless they have somebody else to wash them, they actually physically cannot reach themselves, right? There are flaps and folds that are unavailable for access. So if this happens, people get old who get left alone, and then they aren't able to clean. So you get like water and residue and bacteria build up in the crevices of their being, and it just gets infected and leads to horrifying skin conditions and whatnot, or gets things grafted onto it.
Are you saying that he has grime in places that most people don't even have places?
Most people don't have the mast that would be even facilitate these things happening. Whew, yeah, sorry to ruin that for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the SIG statement, but we have about 15 minutes till we head over to the other stream. Chris and James, I think it is still linked in the chat. So if you guys want to hop over to that, it's going to automatically transition. Fingers crossed. I had to reset it up. This is the first time trying it. Fingers crossed it's going to automatically transition this stream to the next stream, which should start out with a Norm Macdonald clip for the intro. I got that finished. But yeah, so that's got about 15 minutes. If you guys want to say a little spiel, sell it for a minute, and then I'll kick you guys out to hop over to the other one.
Yeah. Come join us over at Redoubt. We'll maybe explain the name. But yeah, we're going to have a good conversation. We're going to go over some clips, some atheists, Catholics, and Protestants, reviewing some hot takes. And it should be a fun, diverse conversation. So,
yeah, it should be awesome. It's going to be me and Chris. And I do want to say that even if you're a total degenerate, not a Christian, not interested, you should still show up, because we compiled... at least I did. I know my clips are going to be special. You're going to want to see them. Okay, so they're going to be entertaining and interesting to you regardless of your faith. So you should go check it out.
It'll be a good time. Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll see you over there.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, James.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, John. Deport all fat people. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's the next category to go. That's good. All right, appreciate it, gentlemen. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. Yeah. All right, let me see.
Thank you very much for the 2,000 subs. New milestone video coming out
also
soon.
let me I saw your Instagram post. Let me grab your, because we don't need this guy up anymore. Let me grab your channel so I can throw it in there. Thank you for hopping on, Bucky. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
While you're doing that,
well, unfortunately, not be able to join the next stream. I'm great to be in this one.
Yes, yeah. Next stream, I think it's just going to be the three of us for a while because it's its totally own thing. But I just dropped Bucky's link in the chat. 2,000 subs, going strong, doing fantastic reporting, and keeping up with all the things that you do not want to have to engross yourself in. Literally engross yourself in.
And these people that we covered today are an example of one of them. So thank you very much.
Yeah, they all run in the same circles.
100%. I did want to say real quick, Stealth Life for $5 on Rumble says this is the male version of an obese white woman going on some insane Netflix girl boss rant, and he is absolutely right.
Yeah, these people are very, very special. Now, let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Oh, Bucky didn't actually have to leave. We have about 15 minutes left, but is there anything else on Rumble?
Nope, that was the last of the super chats on Rumble. We got 2 more on YouTube.
That's no, we're gonna get to them. Don't worry. We have 15 minutes. We're not leaving until it's time for me to go to the other stream. So we're staying here the entire time. Now, SIG Sauer, you gentlemen may know that they are at the center of a recent controversy that unfortunately ended in the death of a serviceman, a Air Force serviceman, when he removed his holstered P320 and set it on a table, and the story is allegedly that it went off, striking him in the chest, killing him, which is the first confirmed kill of a serviceman with a P320. There have been 2 other reports and lawsuits concerning wrongful deaths with a P320, but this is the first one that happened in the military, allegedly with witnesses and cameras, and is resulting in a pause of all M18 usage in the United States Air Force, and they are transitioning everybody to solely use their M4s, no sidearms. They have been completely decommissioned for the time being, pending this safety inspection and further investigation, basically, right? So SIG Sauer did come out with a statement that was not totally assholic, so I actually don't mind this. SIG Sauer says, our hearts are with the service members and families impacted by the recent reported event at the F.E. Warren Air Force Base. We proactively offered assistance to the U.S. military as they investigate the incident and remain willing to help in furtherance of their ongoing inquiry. We have absolute confidence in the military's ability to conduct a thorough investigation and are working with the Air Force and Army to answer any of their questions. Now, the reason why I like this more than others of their statements is they at no point defended the P320, as that would be terrible timing to use the death of a serviceman to say we are fully confident in our pistol and it's not its fault, because that would place the blame solely on the hands of the soldier, which they should not do. And they immediately say we are investigating and providing support with their internal investigations. Now, keep in mind that they denied working with the FBI in their report. So they said, no, we're not interested in being part of your investigation, when they had a P320 that went off while still in the holster. And now we have the exact same thing happening again. This time, very unfortunately, taking the life of a service member.
Yeah, that's extremely sad. And kudos to SIG for actually making a statement on it and not putting their foot directly in their mouth like they have every other time. Hopefully they've learned. Now they just need to fix the issue. Whatever it may be, they need to work directly with the Air Force, the Army, and I see they left the Marines out, even though the Marines have commissioned their
correct.
own
They're doing an engineering review on their pistols. Yep.
So at this point in time, I think the proper thing to do would be to remove all M17s and M18s from rotation in all branches of the armed service and let the police sort it out as they will.
but it's not like the military doesn't have enough money and other weapons floating around that they could put in somebody's hand, right?
Yep, 100%. This was completely preventable. Again, one of the biggest controversies from the very beginning is that the P320 never actually underwent the full testing and evaluation that the handguns were supposed to go under when they actually got the contract. They simply won the contract outright based solely upon price being roughly $100 million, $150 million cheaper total contract than the nearest competitor. So it's very sad. Security 42 is in chat, and he says, how can I donate surplus SIG P320s to the Socialist Rifle Association? Big brain moves, Mr. Security Guy. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good night tonight, sir. Yeah, so the reason why this is like, again, it's not that it's perfect. It's not that you should believe them. They're still evil corporation number 421. But it is at least they didn't come out and blame the airmen and say that their gun was perfect and has never caused any issues. Like, if you could at least not do that to the grieving family, that would be nice. Thank you very much.
Now, do we know if SIG is in charge of running their own Reddit page or not? Did we ever figure that out?
I am not entirely sure.
Because I thought it was odd that they were mass deleting comments and links to the actual page itself and the memo that was released, but yet this has stayed up.
So this is on the SIG Sauer Reddit that you just sent with me 2 hours ago by Naked Snake Mate. The airman, Pog ass Suckfo dude, lied. He was playing around with it and shot his homie. The witnesses lied too. He's in jail now. You heard it here first.
A random person commenting this as allowed to stay up.
Well, that's funny because
the actual statement released from the Air Force, it was deleted.
Right. So, sorry, go say that again. What was deleted?
The actual statement that was released from the Air Force about the incident.
Mm-hmm.
People were posting the screenshots from the actual press release, and that was being deleted. But this gets to stay up.
Stays up. This might be, well, it's positive, right? So the 320 subreddit seems to be a total cope fest. So something that's positive, and this is a wild allegation to make, right?
Very much.
And as what's funny is this is Kirk. This is Kirk from Arrow Precision, who used to be their social media guy before he got let go during the whole falling apart fiasco. And source, trust me, bro. He is very skeptical of it, as I believe that you should be. This won't get deleted, I'm sure. Somehow it's still up. Yeah, no proof. Surprise, this is still up. Again, I think that the SIG Sauer subreddit, whether it's actually run by SIG or not, if it is run by SIG and they leave this one up, that's a wild move. I would not recommend doing that. But claiming that the gentleman lied and killed his buddy, I don't know about that.
There would be video of the incident.
No, it would not leak. Not from a military base. Not unless somebody leaked it right away. Because as soon as the investigation started, everything got locked down. I guarantee you. We may never see it unless somebody FOIA requests it. Protraband might actually have to FOIA request it again in like 18 months to actually get the real video.
Yeah. It sucks that it happened. It sucks that it had to happen in order for them to take any action. And personally, I don't think it had to happen. I think that 2 people had already lost their life in a non-military role, and these instances should have been investigated further. That's my personal take on it.
Yeah, I doubt SIG employees being involved would be very, very skeptical. So the story that I was told, the insider information that I got sent was that the gentleman was shot in the chest. And he got shot in an area because it's a nuclear base where there were nuclear materials or whatnot in this loading and unloading area, the storage facility, basically. So it's a very sensitive area in which he got shot, the gun went off, and of course, unfortunately resulted in his death.
It's very sad.
Yes. I know we had a couple more come in real fast, so I'm going to get to those really quickly. Moonman for 5 says, I just like the Tito meme. I could find something far more reprehensible and see if I can slide it under your normie noses. You probably would. We wouldn't get it. But thank you, Moonman, for the 5. Chud McGill for 2 says, if you don't like Tito, you can always go to Gassy. I prefer Tito over Gassy. 100%.
You know what? There's 4 minutes left. I will give the man his gas.
Give the man his gas. Mostly Flyers for 2 says YZY is built like a capital D. Very true. That's funny. Moonman for 10 says this UCP camo all over again in terms of corruption that hurts servicemen and also make a Discord thing just for giving me specifically that anime girl memes. They do gangbusters on Telegram.
I will see if I can set up a thread specifically for your anime girl memes, sir.
Yeah. Oh no.
See what I can do.
Surely that will not turn degenerate almost instantly. Surely we will not have that happen.
Creates internet, creates forum, instant anime.
Yeah. That's just how it goes. Well, all right, Richard. Well, we got 3 minutes before I kick you out of here.
Did
So
you just have a stroke?
You know, I'm working on having a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, got him. No, what do you got going on, good sir?
Well, as of tomorrow evening, I will be going offline for a little while. I'm going to be in the process of moving, but luckily for the people who watch the wonderful content that is over on the Out of Focus Clips channel, I will have content up for them. So there should be no lapse in content for you guys. If you would go over and subscribe and watch, I take the clips from the actual stream and cut them down into more bite-sized segments, so they're easier to watch, easier to consume, easier to share. So it really helps us out if you guys subscribe over there too. So thanks for everything.
Moonman for 5 says, again, as my grandfather would say, mighty wide of you, Richard. I mean, that's not a bad thing, though. I think that's almost a compliment in some circles.
I believe it is.
But yeah, so let's see, where did it go? Make mossy oak bottomlands camo great again. Yes, true. Very true. But I put the Out of Focus clips. I put that in the chat. You guys should go check it out. And again, in about 2 minutes, it's going to kick us out of here and instantly transition over to the new stream with James and Chris, where we will be reviewing some of the best/worst clips of all time. As far as my own personal work goes, I have more videos coming out this week. I still have like 5 more I need to edit in the next like 6 days. So we'll see how that goes on. And then we also have, people would stop messaging me. We also have, I have a false copyright strike to fight, which should be very entertaining. But I do want to thank everybody for hanging out, for chatting with us, for letting us know what you think about this situation. I genuinely appreciate your input, hanging out with us, making the show a success, whatever this show is or is called, the show without a name as it is at this point in time. But
you guys are great.
Shadow Force says, lapse in content? No. Lapse in judgment? Perhaps, yes. A lapse in judgment is much more likely. But I thank you very much for hanging out, for being with us. And with all that out of the way, gentlemen, I will see you in the next one. God bless.